Alright, let's talk about movie sequels for a second here. Sometimes you take your first movie, it's amazing, it's incredible, it blows everyone away, and then you try and make a sequel, and it just doesn't work. But sometimes your idea wasn't captured in that first film, and you turn around and you make a sequel, and it just blows everyone away. Like that was the movie that should have been. The exact same thing can be said with video games. For example, Simon's Quest. It's not a terrible game, but it's not the best. Pac-Man 2, awful game. Completely horrible. But Watch Dogs 2 took everything from Watch Dogs 1 and just blew us out of the park. It was such a great game. But when I take this pair of games and I really take the nostalgia blinders off, where does Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro stand in the grand schemes of good and bad? So I haven't played the very first game in quite a while. I have played the first game more recent than this one. I played the first game a couple years ago, so I do still have that more fresh in my mind, but I'm going to give this game the benefit of the doubt and not compare it to the first one, because I think that would be unfair from a standpoint of I haven't played the first one in a while. So if I ever do a review on the first one, if I ever do a review on the first one, then I can actually turn around and say, yeah, the second one was better off here, or this one excels compared to the second one. I just wanted to get that out of the way as I jump into my next topic, the controls. This game is clunky, 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 and it becomes abundantly clear that it's going to be a challenge to play as soon as you start playing it. The camera doesn't exist. You have no control over it. What you have to do is you have to move, wait a couple seconds, and then the camera will readjust to you. Why can't I say my R's tonight? What is going on? Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm back. I calmed down. I collected my thoughts. I'm back here again. And I was talking about the camera rotation. So I was playing with an analog controller, like the game says it has analog compatibility. Alright, I took a little break so, I could actually talk. The only point I was trying to get across there was that it actually has an analog stick, so I don't know why they couldn't program the camera to be on the analog stick, but I'm gonna give this one a pass because I think the first game probably had the same problem, as I will come to find a lot of these PS1 games have this problem, but it does kind of suck. It makes Spider-Man feel really heavy, and it's not a lot of fun. At times it killed me, many, 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 many times it killed me. This leads me into one of my first real big points, the difficulty in this game. This game is hard, and I wasn't even playing it on hard. I was playing it on normal, and yet I found myself dying so many times because the camera's in the wrong place, or I only had such a little bit of time, or sometimes it just seemed like the game wasn't loading stuff in that I needed to do. Like there was a mission where I was supposed to go get a bunch of keys for a bomb, and I couldn't find the last one. I had 3 minutes to find the last one and I just couldn't find it anywhere. I don't think the game spawned in enough enemies. Or there's the fight with Sandman that I was sitting there for so long trying to pick up boxes. I was screaming. I was like, Spider-Man, you're right there. Pick it up. And he's just tapping and then he's punching because the punch button's the same button as the action button. So it just doesn't make sense. And then that final little area, that last area of whenever you're about to go fight Shocker and you're just climbing up the wall. Oh, got hit by some lightning. You fell. Oh, want to climb up the wall some more? Guess what? You're going to fall. Oh, you're almost there, I see. Let me spawn the lightning here. Because you got to go in the middle. If you go on the edge, the lightning spawns too soon. I did that thing for like a good 10 minutes probably. And that doesn't seem that bad. But I was also cheating. Yeah, so I cheated kind of. I mean, it's implemented into the game. Throughout the game, you get unlock costumes by collecting certain stuff, beating the game so many times on a certain difficulty, etc., etc., and you unlock costumes. Well, in this game, compared to the first game, you actually get to create a costume, which is kind of cool. You get to take one of the skins and then take the abilities of the costume. And I just so happened to definitely not type in the cheat Aunt May and get everything for the game. and then make my own costume that gave me invincibility, stealth, and unlimited webbing. I definitely did not do that. That is one thing I do really like about this game, though. It feels very Spider-Man. It feels like a Spider-Man game. You have Stanley narrating things.
Welcome, true believers. Stan Lee here to bring you yet another scintillating tale of superhero daring-do.
You have cinematics. You have Spider-Man characters. This game had some like big characters, but I feel like the first one really excelled. This game, you have Electro, Shocker, Hammerhead. I think that's really it. Beast is in there, but he's an X-Man character. In the other game, you had Venom, Carnage, Doc Ock, Electro, Scorpion. Oh, you do have the Lizard in this game. How could I forget the Lizard? That's like one of the best parts of this game. That's like the best boss fight of this game. Although mine didn't really work. I don't know why. I think that was just what I was playing it on. I think the game was a little messed up, so I had to actually skip that level. But Lizard was really fun. I do like Lizard in this game. I also believe that he's in the first game, though, or at least you fight lizards in the first game. There's something about that. I'm a little confused. I'm just going to go on to my next point, which is this game's repetitive. I didn't want to play it anymore. I got bored. I did this mission where you jump on this thing and you swing up and then you like hit a button and then you kill some drones or whatever and then you go to this laser thing and these lasers are so strong they kill you in like 2 hits. As soon as they're on you, you're killed. So I was like, I've done this 7 times in a row. I'm over it. I've done this boss battle with Sandman 7 times in a row because it's awful and I don't pick anything up. This game's so repetitive. You lose, you start from the beginning of the level. That's fine. I don't care. I'm bad at the game. Whatever. But it's not fair whenever the game's only difficulty, and the only reason why I'm bad at it is because the game doesn't play well. It doesn't function properly. I can't face the right way. It's just a broken game, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's really bad. And that's going to lead me to one of my last points. The boss battles in this game are super, super boring. Like I said, the lizard boss battle's cool because like it's the lizard. He throws you through a thing. You got a little mini game you got to do, and then you have to pick up serum, and then you shoot your webs at him. But you can only do it with the serum, and you only have so much serum. That's cool. I like that. All the other bosses completely boring. I couldn't figure out what I was actually supposed to do with Shocker. I assume I did it right though because I killed him. And then after that, you don't really have a boss fight for a while. You have Sandman, although I wouldn't really like call that a boss fight. There's no reason to fight him. You can kill him, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't stop his wall from showing up so you can catch the train any faster. The only real purpose I think it serves is he won't be there to mess with you while you try to break the wall for 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. I'll be generous. He comes back like nothing though. You'll kill him, waste all your barrels trying to kill him instead of destroying the wall like you should be, and then he'll be back before you even reach the next wall. It's kind of pointless. And then the boss after that, you have Hammerhead. So you fight Hammerhead, and pretty much what you have to do for Hammerhead is you let him run into a wall, you try to fix your camera, which isn't possible most of the time, and then you beat him up. And then he'll start shooting at you, and then at that point, you want to web zip his gun out of his hand, but you can only do it at certain times, mind you, or he'll just sit there and shoot at you for back to back to back until you're pretty much dead. It doesn't really matter at that point, you might as well turn on cheats. I'm surprised I didn't turn on the cheats at that point. But I finally did it after messing with the terrible camera, jumping up, him shooting at me ripping out the gun, jumping up again and having a split 5 seconds to readjust my camera, turn around all the way, let the camera auto adjust, and then finally lock the camera onto him and hit him for like 5 seconds before I had to just repeat the process. Then the last boss, you have Electro, which, I mean, arguably, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a cool little area. The boss fight's super easy, though. Even without cheats, I could have did that one. I've done that one many a times. And then, like, the final form with him, it's annoying. It's very, very repetitive. Like I've already said multiple times, this game's super repetitive. You do the entire thing, and he has such a long, long health bar that you'll sit there for, I don't know, I think I sat there for a good 20 minutes maybe, even with invincibility on, just wailing on him and doing the same thing and then wailing on him. I really couldn't imagine how I did it back then, whenever I didn't use any cheats and I did it all in one health go. I forgot that there is another fight with Sandman. I had cheats on at this point. I remember doing this one whenever I was younger. It wasn't very fun at all. It was actually really hard. It was even kind of hard to get him in the right position because you have to turn on a water faucet, let the pressure build up, and then get him in the right area. But it's nearly impossible to get him in that one little area right there. And then you have to turn it on, and then you get so many seconds to actually kill him. But that's one thing about this game was with the first game, I remember, I can remember even right now, I can remember scenes and stuff from it that I genuinely enjoyed playing, that were cool to look at, and I was like, wow, this part was really fun. This game, everything that I remembered, it seemed like every scene that would come up, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember this part. It's awful. It wasn't me thinking, oh yeah, man, this game's amazing. And as I progressed through the story, it really seemed like every single one of these levels that I was doing, I remembered them, but I didn't remember them ever being good. But in my head, I did think of this game as a good game, so I don't really know if I was just young and naive and didn't notice, or if this game was funner back then. Is funner a word? I feel like funner's probably a word. The funnest? The bestest? The greatest game? I don't know. All I know is that this game's not that great. And I'm going to go ahead and give my closing statements and end this review because I think you already see my opinion on the game. Alright, so these are going to be my last little thoughts on the game here before I close this out. Whose idea was it to make Electro the villain? Like, Electro is one of the goofiest looking characters, and they used the Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I know at the time there was no others, but somebody could, went around and did a redesign of him to at least make him look a little more menacing. I mean, this was 2001, I believe, so they at least knew that Electro looked kind of goofy. I can't believe that anyone at Activision looked at the PS1 model of Electro and said, yeah, that's the villain we need in this Spider-Man story. I mean, if you look at going back to Spider-Man 1 here, if you look at the end villain of I don't even remember what it was called, Doc Carnage, I think. It was just a mix of Carnage or it was a mix of Doc Ock and the Carnage symbiote. That thing was terrifying. It was absolutely just horrifying. But I don't know why the game stars Electro. I really think some of the choices for the villains here were really lame. I mean, even if you had to bring back old villains, I mean, there hasn't been a Green Goblin yet. I don't believe there was a hint of a Hobgoblin in the first one. You find his lair, and I didn't really find any secrets in this game either. I don't know. I just think the game could have expanded a little bit more. I do like the cutscenes though. The cutscenes I find really funny. I think Spider-Man's pretty hilarious in this game. He definitely feels very Spider-Man. One of my favorite cutscenes is this one.
Better start making sense, lady. Zeus is what?
Just 6 of you against one woman?
I don't know who thought that one was a good idea, but I mean, I caught it whenever I went through. I don't know if they did that intentionally. I don't know if the PC version maybe has 6 people on screen at a time, but there's definitely not 6 people on the screen right there. So yeah. The plane scene, that's one of the worst things ever. And I don't know if that was because of my controller or if that's what you actually have to do, but I tried so hard because I know you have to use an impact web to blow up the barrels, but I could only do it jumping. So trying to do an impact web over and over and over and over and over again just to sit there and finally just do it in succession over and over by jumping and doing it, I felt like an idiot. So it's not that the plane part was hard, it just made me feel dumb, and I don't really appreciate that. I think I'm pretty smart, and I think the plane was kind of mean. So yeah, um, I think that's gonna do it for the closing statements. I don't believe this game is that good. If you want to give it a try, I mean, I'd say yeah, go ahead, but I wouldn't recommend it. If a friend asked me, "Hey, what's a good PS1 game?" I'd recommend them Harry Potter over this game because this game, I really didn't have fun towards the end. I was enjoying it to begin with. If you have a lot of nostalgia for this game, I had a lot of nostalgia, but I went into this review thinking I want to judge the game on how it actually plays rather than, yeah, I remember this game when I was a kid. Wow, it's such a good game. I just wanted to judge it based solely on it as a game and if it holds up today. And I really don't feel like it holds up today. There's so many better PS1 games that you could play that are more fluent and control better than this. And I really just got fed up with it at the end, just to the point where I just needed to finish it because it was crawling on me doing these same missions for the past couple nights that I was like, I need to get this footage done. I'm not having fun anymore. I'll just resort to skipping the game and unlocking all the levels and going through and beating them like that. So I don't recommend it. If you like the game, be free to tell me why I'm dumb and why my opinion is invalid. I will gladly take that criticism and I'd love to hear it. Other than that, I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. So if you like the video, leave it a like. If you enjoy the content, you want more like this, I'm try to post a review every single Wednesday. So go ahead and subscribe so you know you don't miss out on that. And yeah, Spider-Man 1 is probably a better game. I'll get around to it one day maybe.
I see footage, I stay loyal, I see footage, I see footage, I stay loyal, I see footage, I see footage.